Okay, so when you hear the word jousting, you're probably picturing knights in shining armor, right? Charging at each other on horseback, lances ready. It's a classic image. But what if you took that whole scene, swapped the horses for rowboats, and dropped it into the sunny canals of southern France? Well, let's dive in. It's a wild thought, isn't it? And believe it or not, for the last 400 years, in this one little corner of the world, that's exactly what they've been doing. This isn't some fantasy. It's a real, breathing, soaking wet tradition. So let's just break this down for a second. Instead of those charging horses on a battlefield, you've got these powerful rowboats slicing through a canal. And forget the heavy armor. That's been replaced with simple, all-white uniforms. But my favorite part? The goal isn't just to unseat your opponent. It's to send them into the water with a massive splash. It's a dunk! Now, you're probably wondering, okay, how on earth does this actually work? I mean, jousting on a moving boat, it's got to be this crazy combination of balance, pure strength, and a whole lot of nerve. So let's get into the mechanics. The official name for this sport is jouster. And the concept? It's honestly brilliantly simple. You have two jousters standing way up high on these platforms, and each one is just trying to knock the other guy off with a giant lance. And the gear here is super specific. Each jouster stands on what's called a tintaine. That's a platform nearly 10 feet up in the air. They're holding a 9-foot lance and defending themselves with this heavy wooden shield called a pavois. And they're not alone up there. A crew of 8 to 10 rowers provides all the muscle, while musicians playing the oboe and drums give the whole thing a pulse. All right, just picture this for a moment. The music starts to swell, signaling the charge. The crews dig their oars in and row like their lives depend on it, sending these boats hurtling at each other. High above all that chaos, the jouster has to brace on this tiny platform. I mean, talk about a test of skill. And then, crack, this deafening sound of wood smashing against wood echoes across the canal. So here's what it all comes down to. It is a total winner-take-all moment. You either send your opponent for a swim, or you're the one going for a dip. And if nobody falls, well, the boats just turn right back around and they go at it again and again until one of those knights is officially underwater. But this is way more than just a splashy contest. To really get why it survived for centuries, we need to dig into its history and understand what it actually means to win. Let's take a look at how this whole thing got started. So you have to go all the way back to 1666. The very first tournament was held to celebrate the founding of the port of Sète. What started out as a party eventually became this huge, serious competition. The main event, the Grand Prix de la Saint-Louis, still happens every single August. And get this, if you win, your shield gets put on display in a museum. It becomes a permanent part of the town's history. And this quote right here, it just gets to the absolute heart of it. This isn't like winning some local sports trophy. For the people of Sète, becoming the champion, that is the highest honor you can achieve. It basically makes you a local legend. And that feeling, that sense of honor and legacy, it just proves that this isn't a sport for individuals. No way. This is a tradition that weaves the entire community together and has for generation after generation. Jousting is literally in their blood. Families pass down these little secrets for generations, the best way to plant your feet, how to hook an opponent's shield just right, or how to absorb that brutal impact without toppling over. The whole town gets swept up in it. Before the matches even start, there's a huge parade for all the jousters. So it makes you ask, why does a tradition like this still thrive? I mean, in our super fast digital world, what keeps people coming back to these canals every summer to watch this incredibly raw display of skill? And, maybe that's the answer right there. In a world full of esports and virtual reality, Joute Nautique is just undeniably real. It's physical, it's raw, and it's this powerful, tangible connection to a unique piece of culture that has just refused to fade away. It really makes you think, doesn't it? As we're creating our own traditions today, it's worth asking, which of them will have the strength, the meaning, and that deep community spirit to actually last for the next 400 years? What will be our Joute Nautique?